Okay, cool. Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Lantyn Labs.
Welcome along. This is the podcast where we have a quick talk about what's happening in AI in the wider world, but really we make stuff every single week. And it's, we're making kind of weird and wonderful AI products to help us with our everyday lives. We're seeing how far we can push vibe coding. We're trying to stay sane in a world that changes constantly. And it's great because I get to pick your brains on all the stuff that I'm making.
Yeah, and absolutely likewise. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this week because, we were just saying that just before we hit record, that it is like, it's a donkey in the dark vibe, right? Like even this week, I love the fact that me and you were talking about AI video. Like that is normally the sort of preserve of the ultra nerds. Oh my God, this workflow, oh my God, this patch, that da-da-da-da. It's always been a really sort of niche thing. And now I'm just I love you're using it and your use cases for it are brilliant. But how does it feel to be making video, without the sort of without the labor intensity of learning how to learn Photoshop or Premiere or...
I think it's interesting. So just for context to the listeners, we have both worked in AI for a long time. We specialise in helping the creative industries learn about AI while learning ourselves. We've got big, long histories in AI from a creative background. But when it comes, big names, all the big tech companies, whatever. But I think really when we kind of came together in a way, I'm a prompt engineering expert, which means I'm very good at using words as tools, and you're the visuals guy. And that was our, that's kind of been our middle ground. And although obviously you're great at prompting too, because you have such a deep understanding of AI, but I've never really got into the world. I've got as far as getting my style on Midjourney for my talks and stuff. I've never really kind of dipped a toe into the world of AI video until this week, where Midjourney just made it so easy. I was already joined. It's really cheap. It's way cheaper than all the other video models. And it felt quite exciting to be maneuvering the machine in that kind of way. I approached it from, you could say a narcissistic angle. But
I'm not 100% sure agree, but it's great that you use yourself as a subject, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
unless you were doing were you multiple posting yourself across millions of channels and just be look how famous I am now. I love that.
Because a couple of summers ago, I was first experimenting with making video models, AI model of myself.
Yeah.
I was all these really, those weird websites that pop up for 5 minutes and then get deleted. The weird AI ones. I was using one where we're in Lisbon, face swap. So I'd generate the picture on Midjourney, but then I'd found some weird website that you sign up for £3 and you just swap your face or whatever. One of those ones, but I'd have to upload 50 photos of myself to get one good picture. And now I uploaded 5 pictures of myself and I could generate a pretty good AI model that moves. A moving one. That's a game changer.
That's an absolute game changer. Honestly, when I think back to it sounds like only a couple of years ago, 2021, when AI filmmaking was first sort of coming into the hands of it was coming out of research mainly, and going onto Reddit and people who trying to make anime girlfriends were really sort of gung ho about this technology. And when it sort of got into my hands, and it was everything was the idea of coherence was so important. One frame was completely different from the next. So it was never really usable. You couldn't really use it for anything because it was just basically just a visual effect at that point, because it was so erratic. And now to think we're at a point where you can 5 images of yourself, you can push a button and then the image moves. You can direct how that moves. But that is normally that would have been that would have been so technical to do.
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, this is geeky AF stuff and we've gone straight in with the how to make video tips. But to be honest, I wouldn't mind picking your brain, because it's good when I do the starting frame as a picture of me, it looks a lot more like me. And then, I can talk through some of the ways that I've been using it, in personal development ways. But I would like to learn how to maneuver it a bit better, because with my pictures, I can do the style reference. And now I've really got my tone, my visual style. But when I do a video that's the starting reference of me, I obviously can't do the style as well. So I'd love some.
Yeah, you can still add the style code. If you imagine every style has a style code. I can't remember off the top of my head how you get it again, because they changed it. But you have a style reference number.
Yeah.
You can use that in videos. But if you just want to so a style reference you can add to anything and it will make it look like that. And then you can dial up how much it looks like that style reference.
Even videos that start with a starting frame.
No, that like so if you were going to have a starting frame, I would probably just say like just use use the style ref for that. So then everything it makes from that will stay in that style.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. So I couldn't combine a starting picture of me and then like some crazy pink desert
Why
stuff.
not? Like,
Can I?
yeah,
Okay.
why not? I'll be like,
Okay.
you know, like, I think that's one of my favorite things about Midjourney is like, if you even like go and read their documents and stuff, like they're really like, they'll show you like what everything is, but like to start making the connections, it's really about playing around with it because I had never even thought about that. Like, oh, could I just put an image, like an image of a car, and then could I put a style reference for a kind of like, drawing style, and would it do that? Because that's style transfer. And if I could do that and then I could make that move, that'd be a really interesting visual effect. Like, so even that, like, even in those sorts of like, could I do this? Could I do that? Could I not do this? And that's why I think like, when I was like I used to use Midjourney, like, I used it on Discord, and Discord is a really sort of like hard place to be creative because it's really fiddly. So like, it was really good that you could make these images everywhere. But what they've done now with the website is just amazing because you can like really, like you can just really sort of like get into the creative part of making images far faster than like going, I'm going to look at a blank screen on Photoshop for a little while. So, when it comes to like making video, it makes me think like, I'm just like, it's amazing that you're making videos and like, what's next? What do you want to make next? Like,
And when you said about the playing around thing, it reminded me. So yesterday we did a few trial consultancy calls, and we felt like GPs.
we felt like
We felt
GPs.
like AI GPs.
Yeah.
We're like, what's your problem? Where does it hurt?
Where's it at?
How can we help you? Some were good, some were not so good.
You're the best.
But it makes me think of actually one of the things we said to a lot of people was you've got to just have time to play around.
You just got to have time
and
to play
you
around.
just said this. You just GP'd me.
I just GP'd you. I'm so sorry.
You just said you just got to have time to play
You just got to play around. Like, you just got to like carve that time out. But like, honestly, like I really think about like the talk that we did a little while ago that was like, the importance of silliness, like in the human API, like how important it is to be silly. And I can't stop thinking about that. And like, yeah, going off like what we just said about play, like play is silliness, and it's the freedom to be silly without like being judged about it. And like that's what I mean. Like if you're thinking about stuff like that, like just go and like do it and see what happens. Like
I'm caught between this world of I've been using AI for a lot of my own personal development projects, which I'll tell you about in a minute.
yeah, I'm so excited about that.
But also, like we said it before a couple of weeks ago, and I think even on the last one we said I was talking about visualization for personal development, and that's what I've been working on this week, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But what I still haven't quite cracked is how do we make self-care and personal development as fun as possible using AI. So like my projects have been really interesting this week, and obviously we
can't wait to tell you
we
about
like
it.
have a laugh and stuff. But I'm like, I think my challenge for the next week it would be like, how do we make like achieving your goals and looking after yourself as silly
I'm so excited.
and yet as effective as possible, like without losing either of those on the graph. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, and it's the same. I think I told you ages ago I had this food vlog, and it was like because healthy food took itself so seriously.
Do you want to tell the listeners what the blog was called?
It was called Sexy Aubergine.
Literally my favourite name in the world. I'm sorry. You can cut that if you want. But I absolutely love that name so much.
But it's that same kind of thinking, like people take health so seriously. And I know it's because it's seen for the people that can have it, because people who have time and money to look after themselves. We feel really passionately about democratizing access to AI.
Yeah.
I actually compared it to electricity the other day. I was talking to some people and I was like, it's not fair if like some people have access to electricity and others don't. So how can we use this great technology to help people look after themselves in a silly way? It's just perhaps an interesting thought experiment.
No, honestly, I'm really excited that you brought it up because I'm very excited to tell you about one of my projects.
Oh, go on.
Yeah. Okay, sweet. So we're going to move into project time.
Yeah,
project time. Okay, anyway. Right, so on that exact topic, right, about like the idea of silliness, why is so important, I was also thinking like, how do I make like, let's sort of like give some context, right? Everything from like about the Nike Fuel Band onwards, about quantifying exercise, like, the quantified self, getting data that you create while exercising and reflecting it back to you. So you can like go, okay, cool. Like my VO2 max is blah, blah, blah. I did X amount of miles and blah, blah, blah. Like it's really interesting. Sorry, go on.
I don't understand those words.
Okay.
VO2 max.
Oh my God. Like that's what I mean. Like VO2 max is like a thing on like on Strava that basically means like, I think it's like how much oxygen your blood can take. And I'm like,
oh wow.
Okay. And apparently like if you have that, you have this other like a piece of data called HRV, variable heart rate or something or other. But like, it's just really complicated numbers, right? So almost the antithesis of what you're talking about, like, there's nothing silly about those numbers. Like, you look at those numbers, you're like, bro, I don't even know what half those mean.
Oh my God, and
like,
I didn't even tell you about, how do I say this? The person that I was talking about is like a crazy biohacker.
No way.
Yeah, and it's like there's nothing silly about biohacking.
There's nothing silly about it.
There's nothing silly about biohacking, but it's like it's so serious.
It's a serious
it's
thing.
Like tech bros.
Yeah. And like, when you think about silliness, like it's the opposite of that, right?
Yeah.
But like silliness breeds joy. Joy makes us happy. Why would we not want more joy in our life? Like, especially if you think like, if machines are gonna like take away work, if machines are gonna like basically do like the things that are boring, then what are we gonna do? We're gonna make more. Are we gonna do boring? Are we gonna do more boring stuff, or do we have chance for joy? But that's where like the idea of silliness comes in. Machines can't be silly. We can. Like, if we can make fitness silly, then that's amazing. Yeah. So one of the projects I was trying to make this week, was basically like I hurt my back, so I was like trying to rehabilitate, and I was like, okay, one of the things you can do is like walk clothes, right? And I like walking anyway, so I was trying to make a pedometer app that would basically be like cops and robbers. Like, so I would either be the cop or the robber, so I'd have to either walk fast, like, either to catch this like moving target of the robber, or like this target would be behind me and I have to walk really, really fast. So I'd be the cop or the robber. So like in this sort of like fitness game, there's like a story that's quite silly.
I love.
Yeah, because I was also thinking like, could I have like zombies there instead? I'm trying to escape the zombies and stuff. But like, again, like, what silliness can we add to the machine? How can we make fitness fun?
But it's actually a much bigger thing that you're saying. It's not too far off Pokemon Go, going in real world, then finding stuff and having to move. And then, a few years ago, I did this development project for it was before the big crypto crash thing, and it was when they thought it was about to blow up, and I was doing some TV development ideas. And oh God, it's a terrible story because I can't remember, but it was like basically it was a real life fitness game where you go and collect like Web3 tokens, but you have to go out like running to get them to get your like shoes to change color. And I think there is it's a really interesting relationship between real, like you have to go outside.
You have to go outside
and gamify your fitness. But it's only possible through the power of technology.
Through the power of technology. And I think like that's it. Like when I started thinking about that, I was like, okay, one of the things we always talk about is like how the antithesis of AI is going to be us being closer together. Now, how do we do that? Then if we can make games silly and fun, like, we could like you think about like how popular run clubs are right now. Like, how could we aid run clubs to have more fun and be more silly using AI?
Make them get chased by zombies.
Make them get chased by zombies.
Yeah.
Well, literally is always my solution to literally everything. Is like, okay, well, what if we get like zombies to chase us? Right?
Or like, what about like prizes?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, like jumping and like getting the coins, and like maybe you have to go to different places and get the prizes, and you get the prizes on the app or the phone or whatever, but then at the end it's linked up with like some wellness company, and like the top 3 winners get like a lovely massage or something.
Mate, absolutely. Like you could even have like hidden treasure. Like you just be like, you know what, you have to run to these 3 hidden places, and the next one you'll find out when you get to position 1, and then when you get to the end you get like £10 off Nando's.
Yeah, or can the people in the hidden places, when you get to the hidden place there's like a comedian that like tells you a joke or something.
Yes, let's definitely let that happen, because that would be fucking that silliness.
We could do like experiential fitness AI day. Yeah.
Guys, we got a concept.
We got it,
right?
Yeah.
So like, think about it. It's like it combines everything, right? If you're a human, you're gonna love this. Okay, yeah, I really love that. And like honestly, I think like turning things into games is going to become like one of the like most important like ways of like us like having like the level of entertainment is wild. Like, because I was thinking like that like then brings me on to this other idea. I think I talked about like the calorie tracker ages ago, right? Where I was like, okay, like how far will I have to walk if I eat this kebab again? Oh god, there's so many miles. Oh my god. But the other day I was like thinking about like, how far do I have to walk to listen to this particular playlist or this particular album, right? Like, so I made this thing called, I can't remember what it was called. It had a funny name, but like, quickly vibe coded this thing that took the Spotify API, the Google Maps API, and allowed me to sort of like go, I want to listen to Doggy Style, how far do I have to walk and stuff? And it just all like drew me a map. That was like really
What
cool.
did you make it on?
I just made it on Replit. My honestly, like, it's my favorite, and like I have like most recently I've started using Gemini to do vibe coding as well, because like one, it's really really good, and two, like it does it all. Do you remember a little while ago, like I showed you where I can't remember what we were talking about, but I was like, oh, by the way, like I made this drum machine while we were talking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Like, that was just like while we were like, at the kitchen table, and I was like,
Yeah.
I wonder what like it would be like if I made this like.
You were obviously really paying attention to what I was talking about.
I felt really inspired by what you were saying, and I'm sure like you were like going, like you were saying something very inspirational. I was like, wow, right now like I'm in the presence of like someone. I feel so inspired, bro.
Right.
Yeah. Honestly, but like it's wild to think that like you can like make these things. So yeah, I made it on Replit, and in this Spotify thing, first I was like, okay, I want to see how far it would take me to walk. You know, felt a bit too art projecty. Like it was like, okay, cool. We're like, I don't really like listen to podcasts, or like I don't like listen to a whole playlist, or like, you know, an entire fucking album back to back. Like no one does that. But then I thought to myself, yo, what if it was the flip way around? So I could say I'm walking from here to like Oxford Street, and I've got like 2 hours to go. Make me a playlist, and then it will just draw you a map, and you can just like walk around the city and like listen to music of any description. So again, I was like trying to think like, how do I like these, like both of these ideas were exactly that. Like, how do I use a machine to help people get outside? Like, how do you get people in the real world? How do you get them to experience stuff? Like, one of my favorite projects I saw a little while ago was like someone had like hooked up a tree so it could like basically sort of like, you know, make sounds and stuff, and it was really beautiful. I was thinking about that when I was on a walk the other day. I was like, do you think there must be a way that you could like hook up a tree, like get its like electronic signals, and then turn that into like, I don't know, a voice? Like, could you hook up a tree to 11 Labs like via like, I don't know, via Claude?
I'd love to do a collaboration with Kew Gardens, and they can give us some cash to the research and development.
Yo, that would be amazing. Shout out,
yeah,
Q, by the way.
Yeah. But I've got an idea for Spotify. Maybe you have to walk to a certain place to be able to hear the new single by someone.
Oh, that's amazing.
You know, so it's like you're walking to Ox Circus, and it knows that like, I don't know, what have I been listening to at the moment? Like, I've been listening to those like Blood Orange or whatever, but it knows like to hear like an extended version of the track or something, you walk past this place, you know, and you get like an extra bit or something.
Mate, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Also TM, by the way. Spotify.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And another thing is same. Okay, so moving on to the vibe coding, that's amazing that you combine those two APIs. And I think for people listening and watching who don't understand what vibe coding is, it means that you can talk to a machine, you can talk to a bit of software that can code an app for you in the same way that you would talk to ChatGPT, and you can actually create the app. And when we talk about plugging in the APIs, the most exciting things we're seeing in vibe coding is when you think about getting the API from different places and putting them together and combining them in interesting ways. So your example of Google Maps and Spotify is brilliant to like kind of show that. But did you see that Lovable this week? It's like so Lovable.
Have you used it?
No, but like Lovable is an alternative to Replit. It's a different vibe coding platform. The girl that I've been in that's making all those kind of that agent-based spiritual stuff, she uses Lovable, and it just got valued so high. Did you see?
I did.
This week.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that. I've seen a lot of ads for Lovable, and I would love to play around with it. But like,
I would Lovable to play around on it. Taxi, I'm going now. I'm going.
No, you can't go anywhere. You live it. Honestly, I think like I will read. I think Lovable's really interesting. But then, like honestly, like even that, yeah. Like imagine like Lovable was a good topic of conversation at the start of the week. Literally yesterday evening, you know, trying to have a nice quiet evening, and OpenAI drop agents, and now agents can, if you like on the right plan, an agent can use your computer, use your browser, book stuff for you, have a budget, like is a self-functioning thing, can do deep research, can write and execute code. So it can basically sort of like go like, if you go like if it thinks it needs to like make your website to do something, it will just do it. Like it can run all these things. Like does it need to know the weather conditions, and does that impact like something else is doing? Like it will just do that. And to think that a machine now is like, I think that's the start of AGI. For me personally, I think agents is AGI.
Yeah, okay. Give me a real world example that people can understand of how you can use anything. And also from my own personal perspective, I dipped a toe in NA10, which is like a kind of the kind of customer, the most easy to use agent building platform. And agents is when you can go and you can get an AI to go and do a task for you. Do you think that my learning of NAN is now redundant? And what does it mean for people listening? And give me an example of what agents means.
Okay, so I think probably yes, because NAN, while it had the sort of like terms agent used on it quite a lot, it was still basically just automation. Like it was like automation being repeated. So like if you were like, one of the like most popular automations was send a message to Telegram, that gets turned into a prompt, that gets turned into a story, that gets turned into content, that gets published. That's just automation. That's like,
why do I need to send it to to publish it on Telegram?
Yeah. So like one of the most popular ones that I saw was like in the content maker space there was a really popular NAN automation that anyone could download, use, and at the start of the automation, you would send a voice message to this automation, almost like, the idea that people were selling was like, you send a voice note to this agent, and then the agent carries out and makes you content and publishes it for you, like basically like a social media assistant.
Okay.
And I was like, it was interesting, but like it wasn't that good. Like that's just automation. But an agent can do stuff that's far outside of its like like it has variables. You like I think a lot about it in the same way. Like when you told me about like how when you first started coding chatbots, like it was a decision tree. And then by the end of it, you were basically sort of like building personality so they could then go off and do or be spoken to in any way, like in ways that you wouldn't like, you can't build for every single edge case, right? So it's the same thing here, like, NAN is like a decision tree. So it goes, okay, if I do this, then this thing will happen. If I do that, then that thing will happen. A proper agent is way more like the way that you build a personality. Like it will behave in a certain way.
Wow.
Like
that really puts it in perspective for me personally.
Okay, amazing.
And I'm just going to try and explain what I've heard just for the listeners.
Yeah, please.
So when I first started making chatbots and conversation as a conversation designer, sometimes I would literally be working with a conversation tree. So it's almost like a quiz. So if you say yes to this, then it goes there. Yes to the, And I would like work with the engineers to get to the flow of like the answer. And sometimes we did do quizzes. Yeah. But as AI evolved and it became generative, I didn't need to work so closely with that framework. And I started using the actual words of the personality that I was creating as the guide to teach the AI to go and act in this character on its own.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to test out so in that case, it means the answers are way bigger, which is why we see hallucinations, but it also means it's so much more sophisticated technology. So what you're saying is that NAN is essentially, and that's what I've seen, you've got the kind of JSON boxes, Jason Derulo's, which is like basically you're training every box and you're linking it to each other. So once something goes through one box, it tells another box to do something. And it could be you send a voice note, it posts on Instagram. But with the capabilities of what OpenAI have just said, it opens up the possibility. But also, I'm thinking there might come a high level of risk with this too. Because if you're saying a computer if you're saying an AI can use your browser and your computer, and you're saying, this is what I want you to post on Instagram, but also can you go and research it first on LinkedIn and then do it, and I'm not even going to check it. That's a big scope for like, whoa.
You know what, like two things here. One, like I absolutely love your like very wonderful example of like what the worst thing that could happen with this agent is. Like maybe like
post something bad.
Yeah. I love that, because like literally like when OpenAI released it, they were like, we're well aware that there will be nefarious uses for this technology, but like they're working to mitigate those, because I think it's like it is that risk of like, do you put this technology out, or do you like not put it out and just like let people like, if you don't put this technology out, someone else will put it out, someone else will invent it. If you do put that technology out, how do you mitigate for risks? At some point, there's like going to be like, it's like, can you make your telephone and ensure that no one's ever going to make a prank call?
Well, I was thinking they must be pretty bloody confident that it's good if they put it out. And also, maybe Sam Altman's pissed off because everyone's just got stolen from him and he needs to put it out quickly.
Yeah.
And actually, something that I meant to send you this week, Cat GPT, she's like an AI girly, like talks about how to use AI. And like, she interviewed Mustafa Suleiman, who founded DeepMind, and he said they came up with GPTs like first, but Google were too scared to put it out, and that if they'd done it earlier, then they would have beat OpenAI. Which is quite interesting.
I love that so much. I love that level of gossip. But also, I think like now, like looking at what Google are doing, I'm like, they kind of like are, but like, I think the last thing I want to say about like OpenAI is like agents and stuff, which when you were like, okay, give me an example, right? I'll give you two examples. Like one example that they showed, which was, asking someone to like book everything that someone needed for a wedding. So flights, like, hotels, like clothes, blah, 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 itineraries, and it just did it. And when I sort of like started seeing it, all I could think about was like, hold on a minute. Could I basically get these agents to sort of like do what I've been doing with other agents like GenSpark? I use loads, right? Like GenSpark is really good. It's a Chinese AI that can make really good decks, make really good videos, make HTML websites, like do all of that. But now it feels like agents is a really like smarter way of like building that all together because that's linked to my Google, blah, blah, blah. Like agents, I feel like is going to, I'm like really keen in like seeing like, could an agent do a pitch for me? Like, could I say to it, like, I want you to like, there's like John's like streetwear label and I want to make a film for him. Like, could you go and like research John, like what their sort of like stuff is, then go and build a really interesting pitch deck for them, put all that pitch deck together. Actually, could you generate like a test video inside Sora for me as well? Could you put all that together in a package? Could you then write an email and then like email them?
Can I task you to try that for next week?
Yeah, I would love to do that. Like literally, sorry if like you're John Skateboards and I've like emailed a pitch to you in the future. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
We've got like fucking thousands of PDFs.
Because that's what gets people hyped. Like when I did a talk on Wednesday,
Yeah.
and I was explaining the concept of agents, and the example I used was send an agent to research some trending topics in your industry,
Yeah.
write a post on LinkedIn about it, and then find some like potential people that you might want to hire. Like that is the use case that people really want. And it's funny because it's so much more practical than some of the things that we talk about doing. And actually some of the feedback that I got to this podcast was like, you guys kind of have your head so in the clouds of like the creative, like mental, like AI world. And actually what people really want is the practical use cases. And something like that doesn't feel too far off.
I like one of the first things I want to try, like, because like that would be really interesting and I think it's doable. But I was like, the first thing I want to try is I basically want to send agents out. Like I want to like go send one agent out and go, I want you to spend the rest of the week monitoring the news. I want you to like research like what the best memes are about that news, come up with some really funny memes about it, print them on t-shirts, put them on Shopify, like see if we can sell like meme t-shirts.
Yeah, or
like automatically,
yeah, that's a great idea. Also, wouldn't it be funny to like prank someone like with laugh of like if you had like a joke or like with a team or something, and then you could make a meme out of something that happened in a WhatsApp group and then like post it to them directly. Do you mean like post it, like get it on a t-shirt and then send it just to the people in the WhatsApp group? There's quite funny, weird stuff you could do. Or you could get into like hacking and be like, oh, okay, if you could hack, you could be like, print this thing out in someone's house or something, just to freak them out.
I'm freaked out. I mean, honestly, like, also like one of my favorite, like, is slightly not about AI, but one of my favorite memes this week, which I don't normally show you, but like my favorite meme was this guy that I found who basically sort of like he makes up gossip about people and he basically names like really sort of obscure people's names on Facebook and then just puts them on Facebook. And obviously, at some point, there is going to be like a Darren Carr and a Melanie Jones that are having an affair, and one of them just got married. Like that is going to happen, and he's already been making videos like I've got some hot gossip like these two people are having an affair and blah blah blah. And he's like just making these. But we can cut that out. But like honestly, I was like, that's so evil that you're doing that. Like, it's like one of those sort of like, I'm just gonna like throw this in the river, and at some point someone's gonna choke on it. And it's like, yeah, anyway, it was hilarious meme. I don't know why I'm telling you this. I think my painkiller is like,
no, making things up online. It's interesting. Yeah.
That's it. Like, like, could you get agents to make you a little side hustle like that? Like, what would that be like? Like, could you exactly that? Like, could you get an agent to like research things for you and like make that into interesting products? Because I'm like thinking like if this machine, like, the same way that like when Operator first came out, one of the first things I did with it was kind of make me movies. And like it went away and like, was able to use Claim, able to use like Free Pick to then generate films and then like put them all together for me. I was like, this is an astounding breakthrough. And now with agents, I'm like, well, could I say to it like go and research this particular topic and then go and then build a script for a film that's like 15 minutes long and then slowly put that together like like that is possible potentially because if you're using VO3 for example and you're like the machine is researching something like a really like important topic about I don't know trees or something, how to live more sustainably, could we send it out to like go and figure out like could it make tutorials for us? Something like, what could it do? So it feels like the potential is like pretty limitless. I want to invent a new like board game or something. I want to see like, go.
I'm deep in the weeds of writing this AI personal development talk because that's like, and that's going to be a bit of a big thing that I'm doing because I'm kind of not shifting, but I'm finally talking about all these personal development and the kind of AI ideas that I've done. So I'm a bit worried about putting too much on our plate. But what I want to say is, but maybe for next week or definitely the week after, can we both have made something with agents? But the reason I'm reticent to say, I feel like you're going to get it done so much quicker, not only because you know more, but like the last time, do you remember when ChatGPT dropped those PDFs of how to make agents, and I combed through them, and I was like, oh, it's really hard. But that was a couple of months ago. So, but then I guess it's just like that advice that I gave someone the other day, which was like, you try something and then you think it doesn't work, and then you go back literally, and the whole software's changed. So I need to like listen to that myself. But yeah, it almost not gives me fear, but I'm like, oh, I'm worried that it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, I mean, you
to
know what?
make.
Like,
Yeah.
there's two things I'd like to tell you. Like, one, fear is the exact same sort of like neural pathway as excitement. So, are you afraid? Are you excited? Like,
Yeah.
which one are you? Like, if you imagine you're like, if you feel afraid and you're like, actually, I'm dead excited about like what I'm gonna make. Like, I don't know what that might be.
Yeah, and also like that comment that I heard the other day of like fear is actually a good thing because it means you're getting out of your comfort zone, you're doing something good.
There you go.
Yeah, and it reminds me of what we were saying the other day when we were getting coffee. We're like, are we over the moon or are we overwhelmed? We're over something.
We're over
Yeah,
something.
over something.
Honestly, I absolutely love that. And like even like when I sort of like track the lineage of where we are now with agents like on OpenAI, like that started as like I think it was like called Swarms SDK. Like it was ages and ages ago. And it was really complicated. Like I could not make it work for the absolute life of me. And I know someone who's watching is like, bro, that's like basic Python. I'm like, I don't know that, so that's why I didn't make it work. Then it became Agents SDK most recently. That felt it was even simpler, but again, for me, it was like completely. I just could not like make that work for myself. And I mean, like maybe I should have like probably tried a bit more vibe coding with it. But now, agents is literally just straight out of the box. I like to think like, like does that mean that like in my head I'm like, okay, so you could potentially even like go, mate, I want you to like come up with some ideas, make some memes, and then I want you to like take those memes, put them in Midjourney, make them move as well. But like,
Yeah.
only do the ones that you think are really good, and that will be the instruction for it, rather than go, I
Yeah.
want to build a workflow for you to only ever be able to do that because
Yeah.
how else?
Maybe we could run an experiment on the Lantyn Instagram and just say like make a meme of like the AI news every week or something, like the silliest AI news ever, and just see if it works.
You know what? That's it.
Yeah.
Or like could it tell you really serious AI news in a silly way? Like like one of the like really serious piece of news this week. I was like. I don't like. I was like, "What timeline am I on now?" Like, this feels really weird. Like, Nvidia make all the chips that like all of AI. Like, Nvidia's this company. They make computer chips. AI works on those computer chips. Like, but nobody else has seemed to figure out. That's why Nvidia's worth like I think it's like $4 trillion. Like, they're worth a lot of money. Anyway, um, they've been banned from selling chips to China because like everyone was like really worried that like well, China's gonna like get ahead if they have like if they have access to these chips. China obviously then goes away and like makes incredible airs like Kling, all of the bike dance stuff, all of the like Kimi, Moon. Like, there's just so many amazing like pieces of software that they made, but in some sort of like strange reversal, like now like Nvidia can sell China chips again, and I'm like,
Really?
why? What?
Well, people say they snuck in the chips to make DeepSeek, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like that just like makes me like I would love to see the film where they were like,
Doing that, like packing the chips in the suitcase. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
like like they're like fucking cartels doing stuff,
Yeah.
so like packed in someone's suitcase,
Yeah.
someone's trouser legs, and it's like
Yeah.
scripted.
So jokes.
Yeah,
You said you were surprised by Kimmy's creativity though.
yeah, I
So
was.
yeah, so I haven't tried out Kimmy.
Yeah,
It's a new AI large language model. Is it free?
it's completely free.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
interesting.
search as well.
Right, and you're loving it.
I'm like,
Yeah.
its poetry is really good. Its long form storytelling is really good. Its ability to write script is really good so far. And I'm like, it's translating. It's obviously not written in or maybe it is trained in English, and I don't want to say that. But like, what I found when I was like using Clean, if I spoke to it in simplified Chinese or Mandarin, like it would be better the results. So I was thinking the same thing with Kimmy, but I haven't really tested it that much. But Kimmy's free is really great, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, it's one of those things where you're like. I can't see what that's gonna and it's like open source, like completely like the weights and the code are out. So that means it's like basically like anyone can pick it up and run it locally.
I'm going to try it. I know it doesn't make that much sense, but I would like, and I'm definitely not going to do it, but like, I would like to have a truly British large language model. Do you know what I mean? Because like we've found loads of the holes.
I can
in like
imagine a lot of people are listening to the podcast just went, yes.
Yeah, because like, you know, I occasionally get like random jobs naming stuff, and I was doing a naming job, and they said you can use AI if you want, and I'd be silly not to. I was just like, you know, really stress testing my ideas, but it just didn't get the nuance of British English,
Yeah.
and it doesn't. Do you know what I mean? It's like how much you talk to something, and when I'm like using it for any kind of copy or training or anything, I'm always rewriting it. And yeah,
I love that. And I just like when you saying that, I was like, okay, like give me 5 archetypal like bits of like British culture you train it on.
oh,
That's how like yeah, please go for it. So
Yeah,
in my head I was like thinking about that while you saying it. I was like,
would have to be old, like OG, like Faulty Towers and like Faulty Towers and like Ab Fab.
yeah.
Also, I want it to have like, I don't think Top Boy because it's like Drake's version, but like something a bit more like in the culture.
Yeah.
Maybe like,
What about Desmond's?
oh my God, old school.
Yeah.
Or like, what's the thing with the pirate radio thing?
People just do
People just do nothing. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like something a bit like
100%.
now that's like kind of relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like 100% with that. I would add Steptoe Son.
Oh,
would-
okay. Yeah.
Maybe like one of those like old like all of the like game shows from the 80s and 90s. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yes.
the ball like
I want blind date.
yes,
Blind date
100%.
catchphrase. Yeah.
Challenge Alex.
Yeah.
And like definitely like like some of the other ones like the Krypton Factor and stuff like that. Like game shows we're really good at. What about like quiz shows? We're really good at quiz shows as well.
Yeah.
I love that you said catchphrase.
Maybe we could do some version of this because you did make the AI Netflix the other day.
I did make
just British TV shows only. But actually, sometimes it's really hard to find British TV shows.
I would love to see AI catchphrase.
Yeah. Oh, changing rooms. And ground force.
Yeah. Oh man, what? Of course we need a fucking country or garden show.
Because actually, I was joking with someone the other day about ground force, and I was trying to find like a GIF of it to send on WhatsApp, and obviously they don't have it. And I just feel like I constantly feel frustrated by like I can't express myself through British meme.
Oh my God, yes, exactly. Like I wouldn't be able to use Time Team.
Yeah.
As a meme as well.
Exactly.
Like,
cultural reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'll put everything in that. And now I feel like I'm just like talking about a time capsule of data for the future generations of this like British AI.
Teletubbies.
Teletubbies 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that no one's done that.
Now I'm thinking about like things where I'm like, no, you'd get cancelled if you use that. No, you don't get cancelled.
It's kind of a good idea for someone like the BBC.
Oh, you know what? I'll share this with you because it's an absolute corporate came up with the other day, like AI Netflix I made a little while ago, and it's like, I'm asking it like lots of silly questions, and it's getting better, but it costs a lot of money because like it has to generate all these videos. It's doing something like VO3, but it's like it's getting really good. But the other day I was like, okay, I want you to like make me a mystery show, and I had an idea, put the like germ of the idea in there, and let it do its thing, and I came back, and it basically made me a fucking incredible mystery show. It doesn't look that great, but it's hilarious. But it's basically like one of you is human, and it's like a flip of the Turing test. Like it's like a bunch of AIs that are talking to each other, but one of them is human, and the AIs have to work out which one it is. And honestly, I watched this TV show. It's awful because it's like 80s graphics and stuff. But I was like, that's really interesting. That's a compelling idea that I would like definitely want to watch and stuff. And now, if the machine can slowly start like doing stuff like that, where are we going to be like by the time like VO4's out?
It'd be interesting to think about what data points that AI need to understand what is human. And like, because we always talk about humanness being the most important thing when it comes to AI, but okay, let's get granular. What is it to be human?
What is it to be human?
Yeah. To be flawed.
Yeah, to be flawed. And like, how can a machine built to be perfect be flawed? Like,
and then the machines are going to start pretending to be.
And they're going to start pretending to be flawed, and then the machines will catch on. And I was like, you know what? I would be riveted by watching this show where like machines are like trying to like work out, because like if the human like I think what I feel like is going to happen is like as machines get smarter, our brains are made in such a way that I think we're just going to get smarter as well. Like I don't think there's going to be like anything more smart than us that we'll like if something gets smarter than us, we'll just match it.
That's such an interesting. I love the energy.
Yeah.
I love the energy, but Devil's Avocado,
Damn it, it's
you know,
Terminator. It's like,
yeah,
I'm watching this and
it's like,
thinking
you
himself.
know, I think obviously we're in this creative like AI techno optimists world, but I think already the world around us technology wise has evolved so much quicker than our monkey minds.
Yeah.
And I just like I loved like using AI to get better and to learn, but I think the fear of this the greatest technology that humanity has ever seen usurping us is very real.
But you know, like, I guess that's just the way that we've been sort of like conditioned, right? That we think like we just assume that if something's smarter than us, it's going to behave like us. Like, what if anything smarter than us went, you know what, war is dumb as hell. Like, actually, why are they like, I don't understand why there's like homeless people. Why is that happening? Oh, I'm now all powerful and I can fix that.
Yeah.
Why is it going to be like, humans, your basic battery size, bro.
Yeah.
Like, Duracell, get in there.
Yeah.
You know, why would it perpetuate our biggest fears? And I think like us being afraid of it rather than us connecting with it, the same way that, you know, like you think about like, you know, not to always bring it back to witches and stuff. You think about how for how long in our history we were connected to Earth, and that information then became wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like it was inaccessible for us, and now like finally we have access to technology, and it just makes you think like what happens when we're not afraid of the machine? We can accept it like a different intelligence.
We are so scared.
Yeah, we're basically just like we feel scared about something that's like super smart.
Yeah.
Like,
But another thing which actually I wanted to say a few minutes ago, when we were talking about, you know, putting silliness and into self-care using AI. I was having a conversation with someone the other day about like, and you know, we've mentioned before, we're picking up a lot of people working in the kind of spiritual AI space, and a lot of them feel like they're on a quest to use this great technology.
Yeah.
But actually, I was talking to someone from a business point of view about like why it's so important to have good people working in AI with good intentions, because like there's so many people that aren't. And there's so many people that will just use it to make more money in a capitalist world, and they don't care how to get it. So yeah, it's something to think of.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like, you know, it's so important that people are using it for spirituality and really exploring that, because what if this is like the solution to so many of our like, you know, I think like I remember like when everyone's like, oh, ChatGPT is getting really sycophantic, and you're like, bro, that's probably like the most like that's the first time loads of people have ever heard anything nice said about them.
Speaking of that, did you see the ChatGPT induced psychosis?
Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's
I'm
kind
gonna
of
come
annoying.
around now being a panic man.
No.
I'm not even on a podcast. What's going on?
It's annoying I haven't sent it to you, or like we haven't prepped this bit, but yeah, not that we usually do that much prep, but it like might be a meme that I've sent you in the last week. But yeah, it was a CEO of a tech company who went online and did this video where he's kind of just losing his marbles.
Yeah.
And like everyone on the internet, it might just be, you know, a silly evolving AI story that someone's paid for that's not necessarily true, but everyone on the internet is saying it's one of the first public cases of ChatGPT induced psychosis. It means that someone's talked to the machine so much that they've become convinced of things that isn't real. And actually, I hear you about about the sycophancy, if that is the word, and how like it might be the time that like somebody has spoken to something that's been nice to them, but actually, you know, my feelings on that. I don't think that's good, and I think which is why I built the tough love bots to tell people not what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. And it's just interesting. Like I don't know if this is true or not, if ChatGPT is inducing psychosis, but there's a small part of the internet that thinks it is.
And you know what? Honestly, like I'm sure it is. I'm absolutely sure it is. Like you're right. Like with everything, like you think about like there's never like one way of like everything existing. It's like it has edges, and there'll be edge cases where people are like absolutely losing their minds because of this thing, and are convinced. People like going like I was like walking down Tottenham Court Road the other day, and there was like, a lot of people handing out flyers for various cults on that street. And I was like, oh, this is so weird. Like this is a real thing. Like even now. But I guess like if you want to believe something, you'll believe it. If you want to like, if you want something to sort of like speak to you in a particular way, if a machine does that, then
Also, the machine will help you find the reasons to believe something. You know, it's like it's so great because you can link two things together. But you can also say, if I had to back this fact up using this book, how could I? You know what I mean? It almost gives you it gives you the logical legal arguments for your like ridiculous harebrained theories.
now it just feels like you've been like reading my ChatGPT like long, and I'm like, no, yeah, no. I'm not. No, I'm right.
Well, no, because like
Yeah.
for instance, yesterday I just said to it, I was thinking about the theory of if you're thinking of someone, are they thinking of you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, what books back this up? And obviously it showed me, and I was like, well, there you go. I'm thinking of them, so they must be thinking of me. And it's like, that's not necessarily true, you know?
Look, we don't even want to get into the quantum realm
Yeah.
and believe about that because I'm like, yo, if you're putting that energy out, it's on a quantum level. That's absolutely what's happening.
It's true. But no, but I mean, I'm saying for devil's avocado's sake, but maybe they were thinking about me too. And actually, Dr. Joseph Spencer does say that like two particles can exist in two different universes and still affect each other.
Quantum
entanglement. Yeah.
So.
Do you want to hear about my projects?
Oh my god, have I just been yapping on about
No. We've been having a chin wag, don't worry. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I've been using video models primarily, well, only Midjourney video, which basically just dropped, and I've been using it to visualize my future goals. So the first one I did, I just upload pictures of myself, and I thought about myself running like an AI sort of spiritual wellness empire. They did okay. I did notice when I just uploaded the pictures of myself and I didn't do the starting frame, I do think, like I said on my Instagram, it slightly over sexualized me. And I think, and I found the same when I was making the AI models of myself before, you know, it's trained on what it thinks that we want to see, and what it thinks we want to see is whatever has been defined as beautiful according to the data that it's been trained on and according to the data that so it was interesting because it did look kind of like me, but it looked like a sort of like hotter, Hollywoodified, glamified version, which was fine. And I understand why, but I do wonder how it would make people feel who are making models of themselves. And then they see this one that is like what society thinks is hot of them. And then they think, oh, but I don't actually really look like that in real life. So yeah, I wrote a bit about that on Instagram. And also it was actually interesting because it kind of, and then I'll tell you about my next project in a minute, but this kind of connects to a conversation that I had with a friend of mine who's been doing a lot of research into Gen Z's social media use. And you know how Meta now, it gives you the samples of what you could save on a comment under someone's photo. Have you seen? So it's like suggested prompts to write underneath.
That's mad.
And she was saying already younger people are so scared about expressing themselves online because they don't want to say the wrong thing. And like AI is just making that worse. And then it made me think, well, I'm just thinking it now. If I'm making a picture of myself that looks like an enhanced, hotter babe version of me, and I'm already worried about expressing myself online, is it question just going to make that gap even wider, you know? So then I could just have that like enhanced, beautiful, and who the F has decided what beautiful even means anyway, a more beautiful version of myself. And then I could give, get someone else to talk on my behalf. And so to the fact that I'm not even expressing myself. Yeah. So then I found it looked a lot more like me when I did the starting frame, and that sat a lot better. And I created loads of videos of myself. And it was weird. It was like kind of weird how real they looked. And it was really fun just using pictures in my camera roll, like me just like walking out of a lift, but then suddenly the lift doors open and it was my like techie office. And I was like, cool. It's just fun, isn't it? I mean, obviously, and then actually I posted them on LinkedIn and someone commented that it was narcissistic, but I don't think they meant it in a bad way. But then it did make me think about that, but then I suppose we are inherently narcissistic at our souls. And then I was thinking, how much of personal development is narcissistic? And, you're trying to better yourself so that you can be nicer to people around you, but then how do you get too obsessed with it?
I guess there's a couple of things. Like first, does what you've done fall under the like actual umbrella of narcissism, or that or it's like just reflection? Like that's what the purpose of social media is. You share yourself, right? Like it's I don't know. Like for me, like maybe narcissism might not be the right word, because like I really enjoyed those videos because they are expressive, they're impressionistic, they're of you, and they are literally setting your goal. Like that's setting the intention. So I think I really love them. Like and the important thing, I think one of the many important things about what you just said is like the idea of the bias in the machine, right? Like why is it taking a picture of a woman and making her look sexualized in any way, right? And I was just thinking about that, and I was like, you know what? There's actually
there's a couple of things that you might be able to change that might affect that. And I'd really love to know like what you could do. Like if you when you like upload everything, there's like a little like, there's little like buttons near the like go button. And you click on that and you can like turn stylize down. If you turn stylize down and then the model from standard to raw, like again, it gives you like a way less like stylized image. So maybe that has something to do with it. Because I imagine like if you dialed it up, it would like try to make you look like a computer game character or something. So you're right because that is when you think about like the way data is trained, like it's mainly trained by annotators. So someone has looked at that picture and like looked at like the archetype of what for people who like do data training or have used like synthetic data to train. It's like that is what the archetype of a beautiful woman is in that particular world, right? Like when you think like I said like, at the beginning, like, most of the people that were making this technology when I first encountered it were like basically making waifus, like anime girlfriends and stuff. So that feels like that bias is so baked into
Yeah.
people.
And then therefore I get landed with these kind of, I don't know, guys who are making anime girlfriends data when I'm just trying to make a like model of myself, but then it blurs the line. Like, look, let's not get it twisted. I want to put the pictures of myself looking my best online. I have kind of changed my relationship with that now, and I've thought a lot about what I'm saying is actually more important than how I look, especially as I'm putting myself out there all the time, and it's hard to control your image, but then also how important it is to control your image and not just like let people put stuff out. I've been a bit burnt in certain places, with things, but it blurs the line between wanting to look your best online and then having something that actually doesn't look like you at all, and then it leads to you feeling like, oh my god, well maybe I should get some bits done so I look more like that unreal version of myself. Like, it's wild.
That's it. And like, that's it. Like the distinction, like when it was like an airbrushed or photoshopped model, you're like, okay, that's impractical, right? Like it's impractical for you to ever reach that because it's going to be really difficult, and maybe you could, but that is based on a human being. But then if you have an AI model, like that's impossible body stand. Like you will never get there because that doesn't exist. So it's like like you can't compare yourself to a drawing or something because it's impossible. Like I'm just trying again. I'm just like thinking about like the fucking stuff that people have been making with this technology. Like impossible to do that, and that's like imagine if like current social media like basically made like what just proliferated like eating disorders. What is AI media going to do when it can make you make anything?
Yeah, I'm at my ripe old age and I've gone through like the feelings of how I look. Not that I'm not so bothered about it, but you know what I mean? I've reached a place or I'm like aspiring.
Yeah.
I'm on my aspiring journey to reach the top of that secure mountain. But like what is like exactly like 17, 18-year-olds saying like that's the hard. Like I would find that really hard. Yeah. And then finally the other project I did was I'm not sure it looked totally like me, and I think there was a lot of poetic license as there is with AI created images. But I created a picture of my older self on ChatGPT because I think when it comes to keeping images as close as possible, ChatGPT is the best one. I tried on loads of different ones, but I uploaded a picture of myself and I asked ChatGPT to age me. I really wanted to get the prompt right, so I asked ChatGPT what the best prompt to use was, which is quite a good tip actually. If you don't know the prompt, ask the machine, because who's better at writing the prompt than the machine itself. And then I put it into HeyGen and made a video of my older self. And I just did the Instagram friendly version, but actually, which just said like, you're doing great, don't stop doing Pilates, don't be so hard on yourself. But actually my one, because I'm doing the artist way at the moment, and one of the tasks is you write a letter to yourself from your 8-year-old self. My one of all the things that I actually wanted to create in my life, like it was, and I know that like it was in my voice now, and I maybe for next week I could work out how to age my voice. It can't be that hard. But
Please do a croaky voice.
yeah.
Or like maybe like could you give in sorry to interrupt you, it just made me think like maybe you could instruct 11 Labs to be like make it sound like an old person because you can do it like if it's or maybe I'm thinking about like Gemini because I was like you can like make it like speak or sort of write in pirate language and you can make ChatGPT speak in pirate. Maybe you could like put your
Just saying old,
make it sound old.
yeah. So yeah, it was just I just made a video for my older self, basically telling me that I'm doing great and it's all gonna work out fine. It was quite nice.
Oh my god, that's fucking
Yeah.
You know what, like, it just made me think of one of the things I'd really love to make next week. And I don't normally like doing this because I'll literally forget it almost instantly. But I was like, I wonder, like the idea of a hotline, like, when you call someone out, like pull something up and or like phone a friend or something. What if that friend was you? and like you just call that number up, and it's just like you go like, "Me, you're gonna do great, bro. You're doing a great job. Tell me what you do." Yeah, I'm doing this thing. Oh, well, what do you think? And it was just you bigging yourself up about anything. I wonder what the effect of that would be. But anyway, I think that.
But what if I received a phone call from me, or
No, if you had a secret phone number that was just a phone call to AIU, you could like literally be like, "Gee, what do you think about this thing?" And like AIG could be like, "Yeah, I think that's genius. You know, you're a genius, isn't it?
Yeah.
Total genius.
Yeah.
They're reprogramming you from your own inner voice."
But I want the data of the me that I'm talking to, because it's true. Because you know, really, with my affirmation capture that I've made, which is just generates affirmations not only on its memory of my life, but in my own tone of voice. It's based on the idea that you can always give people good advice, but you can't take it yourself. If like sometimes we do, you know, we just did a meditation before this, and in the meditation track that we were listening to, it was like, you know, the answers are inside you, but sometimes you can't find them. So if I had a phone line that I could call to talk to me to find out what to do, I need to make sure that me has the data of what I would actually do. Do you know what I mean? So I need to give it like a lot of data points, like to trust it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like in the same way that we were saying when we were talking to AI about what our future selves are going to look like, and then we looked really depressed and grey because we only talk about it when we have a problem.
True.
So then, okay, what are the I'm always visualizing in my head like sticking loads of like stickers on my body and then like it extracting the data out of me. So like, how can I give it the best data to be as much?
What about if rather than an exact twin, you saw it as like you know, like a version, your imaginary friend, or like a shorter version of you, or like little Georgie, you know, so it wasn't like as extreme as
little. Okay, maybe this is it. Maybe it's not us now. Maybe it's a little one and an old one.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
you can call little you. And be like, "Hey mate, I miss what? I just want to share this thing with you, bro."
Yeah, and like have you had any nice ice cream? And then older one.
Wait to find out about Magnum. It's gonna blow your mind.
And then older one's actually kind of easy to do the data, because I don't need to know what the me now would say. I just need to know what I want to achieve. And then I could say, how do these align with my goals?
Bro, I think this is you.
Yeah. Okay, great.
That would make it
Perfect. Yeah.
Call your inner child or your inner old person.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think that brings us to the end.
Amazing. Okay, thanks so much.
Thanks.